Greetings, slackers. It is November 12th, 2016. I'm over here on Bloomberg, and there's an article I want to share with you. Prenups for ideas are all the rage with millennials. Prenups for these 18 to 35-year-olds can focus on intellectual property such as software and apps. By Polly Mawsons. It's well known that millennials prize experiences over possessions, but the latest trend in prenuptial agreements shows that this generation might also favor protecting what's in their head over what's in their wallet. The number of millennials seeking prenups is on the rise nationwide, and it's thoughts and ideas that members of couples want to protect in case of a bitter breakup. Just over half of matrimonial attorneys saw an increase in millennials requesting prenups over the last 3 years, according to a survey of 1,600 lawyers conducted by the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. It's not just millennials. Some 62% of those polls said clients of all ages are increasingly asking for prenups, but it's a notable increase from how many 18 to 35-year-olds were getting prenups a generation ago. Quote, millennials are getting older and richer, said Randall Kessler, a family lawyer based in Atlanta who specializes in divorce. Quote, prenups used to be for old money, but now prenups do different things like safeguard intangible property. A decade ago, only 5% of the prenups Kessler's firm worked on were for millennial age clients. Today, that number is about a quarter. Prenups for millennial clients have been on the rise for several years at Buchanan, Ingersoll, and Rooney, said attorney Barry Slotnick. The demographic, he explained, is more concerned about its fiscal future and very cognizant of divorce rates, prompting millennials to increasingly draft prenups. Instead of focusing on alimony and inherited cash, prenups requested by millennials aim to protect intellectual property such as films, songs, screenplays, software, apps, and even ideas for technology concepts yet to be executed. Real estate, the great unifier of married couples of all ages, is also typically included in these agreements. These new school prenups, quote, would have language that went into the future for things that are not yet in existence, explained Stephen Curson, a divorce attorney who first encountered a millennial requesting this type of prenuptial agreement about 6 years ago. Quote, I think there's a heightened focus on the creation of something, whether it's in the form of intellectual property or a business that they would establish in the future, explained Michael Mossberg, a partner at Aronson, Mavsky and Sloan, LLP, a family law firm that has also seen more millennials seeking prenups over the last 5 years. Quote, they want to protect that idea. Attempting to protect potentially profitable ideas that don't yet exist is no easy task. Legally speaking, Kessler occasionally consults with other lawyers to ensure that the prenup his team is working on identifies and values the intellectual asset correctly. Quote, how do you know what is really worth? Kessler asked of the ideas millennials attempt to protect. It's a gray area. Though millennials are increasingly getting prenuptial agreements, there's no guarantee that they'll ever need to use them. The divorce rate is falling, in part because fewer Americans get married, and those who do tend to do so when they are older. Over the last 3 years, John Sloazek, president-elect of the Academy, has seen a rise in cohabitation and partnership agreements drafted by attorneys for millennial couples. Millennial women are driving the push for prenuptial agreements, a contract that was traditionally laid out by the groom when men were primary breadwinners. Kessler and Sloazek agreed. Agreements for millennial couples also tend to eschew alimony. Quote, marriage creates an obligatory situation, he explained. A cohabitation is two people who just decide to live together. While these agreements might be popular with millennials who are wary of getting the law involved in their love lives, they have their downfalls, such as setting up inheritance, health care, and child rearing rights between partners that are otherwise granted upon marriage. There's also the not quite scientific theory that couples who get married later in life are more likely to stay together, but millennials have yet to prove it true. And what I want to jump in on is If you follow any economic news, especially right now, this whole year, one of the common themes has been for the media to blame millennials for number one, not getting jobs and not having enough money to participate in the consumer driven side of the economy, shopping, and all this stuff. And it is true that millennials tend to value experiences over having things. That's great because for years, I know me coming up, I was always pushed towards buying material things, and I really wasn't thinking about, you know what, living life and having more experiences. Because, material stuff can be taken away from you, but experiences cannot. So, this is very newsworthy. And not only that, with millennials, they don't see the value in marriage the same way previous generations did. With the divorce rate being so high, younger men are getting smarter, and you know what? They see this, and I'm just gonna put it out there. Thanks to the divorce rate, this is why men are increasingly reluctant to engage in getting married because they don't want to get screwed over. No one wants to get screwed over and get hurt, but oftentimes in court, the way things go, it goes against the man and it goes in favor of the woman. So men are kind of helping to bring that to an end by not getting in themselves into marriage. And now, as you can see here, the economy has changed. More women are in the workforce. And so, by them being in the workforce and being the primary breadwinners, some of them have created startup companies out of their homes. Maybe they might have started a little small business that's a brick and mortar mom and pop shop or something like that. And so, by them being the new breadwinners and risk takers, this is probably going to be a trend that continues into the future and gets increases over time because now women will have something that they want to protect and they don't want to lose in court because just as everything is flipped from being in favor of the woman, now that women are the primary breadwinners, it can work against women and it can go in favor of men. But these are just my thoughts and opinions on this. I wanted to share that with you. And what are your thoughts and opinions? What do you think about prenuptial agreements? Are you married? Do you have one? Are you entertaining marriage and getting one? Have you ever even heard of a prenuptial agreement? There's another article that I will read another time as it relates to marriage, and it's something that I think that you might want to hear if you are using online dating to meet others so you can find that, true love and have that long-lasting relationship. You might want to hear this before you go down that path. Anyways, you can find the link to this down in the description box. And as always, that's going to do it for this article and this video. I'll catch you in the next one.